Seems the right thing to do, right? Start with the Star Spangled Banner. Okay, this will be one of the few times where I ever ask you this question. So the question is, who liked that? Okay, who didn't? Okay, come on now. If you don't like it, raise your hand. Okay. Tell me why, Amy.
I feel like the lights on it,
Okay, how so?
it was hard to understand like the tunes and stuff.
Oh, so it was a little too much then? Okay. Could you hear the melody? Did you recognize that it was the Star Spangled Banner? You did not know that was the Star Spangled Banner. How many people did not recognize that song? Anyone? Besides Amy? Okay, you did? Okay? Okay. Here's the reason why I use this. There's two songs that everyone in this class should know. One is Happy Birthday, and the other is the Star Spangled Banner. Is there anyone in this class who has never heard the Star Spangled Banner? Okay, that's why I use it. Is there anyone whose birthday it is today? Because if it's somebody's birthday, we got to sing to you. Yes? Okay, so should we sing? Now, here's what's happening. If we sing Happy Birthday, we're all probably going to sing it the exact same way. Why? You're not going to think about it. In other words, Miguel's not like, oh, geez, I hope you don't have to sing that because, like, I only know it in French, and if I sing it in French and everyone's in English, then I'm going to, people will look at me. Or, John might think, yeah, I don't sing. Yeah, I'm not singing. In this class, you're going to sing. Everyone's going to sing. So put that in your mind right now. Every one of you is going to sing in this class. I'm going to have to drop this class. No. It's music appreciation. So I picked these songs because they're familiar to you. You've heard them. But you haven't heard it like that. All right. You said that you didn't like it. Why not?
I don't know, I just never like the Star Spangled Banner but play on the instrument, because to me it just sounds, I don't know, it just doesn't.
Think about it. Remember, let's go back. Remember, all opinions count. All opinions are equal. So you don't have to hold back.
It's just, I don't know, I just never really like the sound of it on the instrument.
Okay? You had your hand up in the back as well.
I like it. I think it's beautiful, and I definitely think you need harmony whenever you play it. But there's just too much going on that confused the actual sound of the song.
Okay. Now that's a great answer. Did you hear what she said? She was confused by what was going on. It was almost too much?
It was too much.
Okay. Now, that's good. That's a good answer. Let me tell you what happened about 6-7 years ago. Did the same exact thing I did just now. Played this. And right here in this, not in this seat, there was another classroom, but right in the front seat, right here, was a young man by the name of David. Who didn't like it? Guy puts his hand right up. I mean, he practically hopped out. He said, Mr. Smith, that man should go to jail. Okay, tell me why. He's disrespecting the country. And when you do music like that, you were defacing the nation. And that guy should go to jail. Whoa. Are you serious? I certainly am. Saquon sitting back and I'm like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Yeah, what I tell you in first class, I've never lied to you. It's a true story. This was at Rowan Cabarrus Community College where I was teaching at the time. Now, in the back of the classroom was a gentleman who was in his mid-20s. He was wearing fatigues. He had just gotten home from Afghanistan. He stood up. He started walking towards the front of the classroom. And I'm thinking, boy, is this great. This is going to be cool now. Here we go. All right. This is going to be awesome. And the gentleman stopped about halfway up and he said, Mr. Smith, would you mind if I disagreed with the young man? And I said, no, please, tell me how you feel. I've been back from Afghanistan for about a week. One of the last things I did is I watched my best friend be put on a plane in a box. Died by an IED, improvised explosive device. That young man needs to know that that friend of mine died defending the flag and defending the right for him to say that. But he also died defending the right of Mr. Baptiste to play his music any way he likes, without anyone telling them that you can't do that. Without anyone saying that if you play your music a certain way, you're going to jail. So, if Luke Skywalker puts out a record with his band 2 Live Crew, talking about me so horny, he shouldn't have to worry about going to jail. Or if Chuck D and Flavor Flav put out an album under the guise of the band Public Enemy, they shouldn't have to worry about going to jail. And NWA shouldn't have to put out their records as NWA, put it out as Niggers with an Attitude, without fear of going to jail. David says, the man ought to go to jail. I forget the guy's name, he starts walking forward. Again, he says, I'm going to have to adjust David's attitude. David made a very poor choice at that time. He stood up out of his chair and turned and started walking towards him. A couple of girls who were sitting over here immediately said, "Mr. Smith, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Observe." "Well, you got to do something." "I am. I'm teaching." The Marine put his hand out and said, "Sit down, or I will put you down." And I said, "David, you probably ought to listen to him. He's been trained. He's a Marine. He could kill you with one punch." And one of the girls in the class said, "David, you're an asshole. Sit down." He turned around and sat down. Now, this is all true. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about the Star-Spangled Banner. We're talking about a piece of music that got somebody so upset that said, that guy that made that music should go to jail. And we're talking about the United States anthem, a piece of music. Where was it written? It was written in the middle of a battle against the British in 1812 in Baltimore, Maryland. And the guy wasn't even a musician. Poetry. And the Star-Spangled Banner, believe it or not, is like 8 minutes long. We do the short version. Why? Because nobody can sing it good. There's 7 verses to the song. Did you know that? No, you didn't know that. It's a long piece. Oh, it's... If we sang the full Star-Spangled Banner before ball games, they'd cancel the ball games. You know, Cam would be out in the field like, "Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Bye," because you're all going to be walking out by the time the song's over. Oh, it's not a good song. It's not real catchy. Hard to sing. Can't really dance to it. And got complicated because that ain't working. Music can upset people. That's why I use this. We all know the song. You never heard it like this. There were people that wanted to have Jimi Hendrix put in jail when he played it at Woodstock. I got probably 20, 30 different versions of the Star-Spangled Banner. It upsets people. Music can do that. We're going to talk about, this is part of this human experience. What would it take for a song to be played that would get you so upset that you want the person who made that music to go to jail? Can you imagine that? I bet none of you can. But boy did Kid David, man. He was upset. And the Marine, he wanted to take care of that, fix this. The girls in the class are like freaking out. And I'm standing there going, this is great. This is beautiful. What are we talking about here? Emotion. We're talking about that human experience. We're talking about music getting inside of you. It may be confusing to you, but to somebody else it's like, "Oh man, that's awesome." And they start doing the ragtime. You know, when they get up and start dancing, man. Wow, I never heard the anthem like that. You know, and then it whistles. Start down the bottom, right? Uh-oh, here come the tanks. Hokey smoke now, Bullwinkle, here it comes. In that version, you hear like 400 years worth of music. You hear in the way that Mr. Baptiste plays that, almost everything we're going to study over the next 15 weeks. It's amazing. But right now, it's confusing. What the heck is going on? What is all that? And that's what this class is about. And that's why I start with that. So, when I play that for you again, and I might, maybe another version, in December, you'll be able to understand what's happening. You'll be able to hear what's happening. You'll be able to understand what's happening. So that when you listen to music 4 months from now, it will enrich your lives in ways that at this very moment you don't understand. So, let's get started. Music is made up of 3 components. Anybody got any idea what they might be? If you read any of your textbook, you would already know this, but that's okay. There are 3 components to every piece of music that's ever been written. Anyone, give me one. Go.
Is one rhythm? Rhythm?
Rhythm is it. This is a test question. If you don't have rhythm, music can't move. For example, if we don't have rhythm, happy birthday sounds like this. Oh man, I'm out of hair. You can't get to the P because you got no rhythm. Happy birthday. You gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. So how do we define that? What do you got for a definition of rhythm? I don't like the textbooks. Here's what we're going to call it. Rhythm is the engine that moves music. Write it down. It's a test question. Think about that. If you don't have any movement, you just got one note. You got to get to the second note. You got to get moving. You got to have that engine. Two more components. Help me out. Give me that. Come on. Give me. Yes. Meter. Meter is how we discuss rhythm. In other words, meter. If I go like this, if I go. That's one type of meter. If I go like this, that's a different type of meter. The first one was a meter of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The second meter was of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So those are types of meters. What do you think? Melody? Telling or asking? Final answer? Melody. Perfect. It's a nice girl's name, but it also happens to be that. Now, how do we describe a melody? Okay? Okay, what is being held together, though? Okay? All right, you're on it. Help her out. What do you think? Remember, I'm coming to everybody. What do you got for melody? How would you describe it? Amy, what do you got? What do you think? Melody. Say again? Oh. The tune. All right, let's add your tune to what she was saying. The melody is a series of pitches that start at the beginning and take you to the end. It's what we remember. The melody moves vertically, horizontally. Horizontally. Happy birthday to you. Follow the bouncing ball. Keep going till So it's a series of tones or pitches that moves from the beginning of the piece to the end of the piece. What's the book say? This one I can live with. Wrong door. They'll get it eventually. All right, so your textbook says melody. And it goes right into scales and so forth. It makes things harder than it needs to be. A melody is an organized series of pitches. Melodies can be built from any scale. Think for a moment of pitch and time as the two coordinates of a musical graph. Yeah, that's too complicated. Melody is how music moves from one sound or one tone to the next. And it moves in a horizontal direction. Melody is horizontal. Horizontal pitches or tones one at a time. Just like I said, we'll go back to it. Happy birthday. Those are 4 pitches. Now, let's put on our lab coats, get our pens out with little pocket protectors, get our name in there. If we were scientists, we call this frequency. We measure sound by frequency. So if I go, there'll be some guy with a microphone, and he's got a box. He's like, okay, well, that was 444 hertz, decibels. My vocal cords are literally vibrating at a speed that can be measured. And if I go, ooh, that's faster, because the pitch goes higher. So scientists call it frequency. We as musicians, and for the purpose of this class, we're going to call it either a pitch or a tone. You can use either one. So the melody is a series of pitches or tones that move one after another. Does that make sense to you? Am I confusing anyone at this point? Because we need to have this discussion needs to be absolutely secure in your mind. Now, here's the difference in my class. If one of you right now is confused by this, and you're afraid of raising your hand, you don't want to be embarrassed, you don't want to, it's like, oh man, really? I don't know what he's talking about. If I raise my hand, people are going to look at me. Oh, God. That's okay. It's a class. You're not supposed to know all this stuff. If you knew all this stuff, would you be taking this class? Probably not. I don't want anyone to ever feel embarrassed about not knowing something. The problem with education in America now is we make our students feel bad if they make a mistake or if they don't know something. That's so awfully wrong. Do you know what they call a scientist who makes 90% errors? They call him a superstar. Give him the Nobel Prize. Science is all errors. It's all errors. I can tell you that because both my grandfathers were renowned DuPont chemists. You can go on YouTube or on WikiLeaks or go into Google and all that stuff, and you can look up Jesse Stillman from DuPont, or you can look up Carlton Smith from DuPont, and you can get all this stuff. These guys were incredible men. But my grandfather said, he's like, yeah, man, we screw up all the time. That's how you figure stuff out, by making mistakes. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, put your hand up, and I'll help you get it. All right? So, component number 3, what do you got? What do you think? Every piece of music has this. Tempo? Tempo is the speed of the piece. That's not it. I need one more thing. Let me go to the scoreboard there. How about, let's see. Felicia, what do you think? We got melody, we got rhythm, what else do we need? John is getting ready to raise your hand. You're going to raise your hand, John, or no? Go ahead. I'm calling on you. Go. Help her out. Emotion? Emotion? Nope. Is it what? Nope. She gave it away. Do you hear what you said? What'd you say? Harmony. Yeah. Now, so if melody is horizontal, what do you think harmony is? Vertical. Two or more pitches played at the same time. So melody, one note at a time, left to right. But harmony, here's your melody. If you take two or more notes and you flip them up and you play them at the same time, now you have a harmony. And every piece of music that has ever existed has had that. Hands go up. Mr. Smith, I'm confused. You said in the last class that when the monks were singing in Pope Gregor's church 1,200 years ago, they were singing one note. There was only one guy singing. How can there be harmony if there's only one guy singing? That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. The harmony is implied. Sounds real bogus, doesn't it? And it may be. And in fact, guys with PhDs in musicology, they argue about this 24/7. That's sort of like if I take this pen here and I go, that's a mountain. And it's got snow on it. And you're like, Mr. Smith, come on. Are you serious? That's a mountain with snow on it. And I'm like, okay, well maybe we can see the mountain. But where's the snow? And Mr. Smith says, it's implied. That's pretty weak. Admittedly. But here's how this course works. When we listen to this music, and we're going to listen to something right now, I want you to imagine how the music grows. And here's what I mean. The only way that I can really explain this to you is have you hear it. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so what you have to understand is that this music is really old. This isn't really groovy music either, folks, so hang on to it. Hang on.
If you ask me before I met the missionaries, before I joined the church, if an atheist like me could...
asleep, or you get put into a trance, or you want to strangle the guy next to you. This is very old music. Probably 1,200 years, 1,100 years. And that's just a guess, because you have to understand that the only way that we know about this music is the fact that it is Catholic Gregorian chant music. And what that means is that Pope Gregory was the leader of the Catholic